Okay, let's forget all the scary jargon about cybersecurity for a minute. Today, we're going to look at it from a totally different angle. We are putting on our detective hats because we're diving into the world of digital investigation, where every single byte of data can be a clue in a much, much bigger mystery.
So let's start with a high-pressure question. A huge company gets hacked. Right now, their systems are crashing, customer data is all over the internet. It's total chaos. What on earth happens in that first critical hour? Believe me, the answer to that question tells you pretty much everything you need to know about modern digital defense.
You see, the absolute best way to handle that insane first hour is to make sure it never happens in the first place. And that's where our story really begins. Not with a screaming alarm, but with a quiet, careful hunt. We're talking about being proactive, where the pros act like detectives, trying to find clues to a crime before it's even been committed. And this is what's so cool. It completely flips the whole idea of a hacker on its head, right? For these digital detectives, the goal isn't to cause trouble. It's the exact opposite. They are systematically looking for the unlocked doors and the open windows, not so they can sneak in, but so they can tell you, hey, you should probably lock this before a real burglar shows up. Now, this whole professional hunt has an official name, penetration testing, or just pen testing. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like hiring the world's greatest locksmith to try and break into your own house. They'll check the windows, they'll pick the locks, they'll try to disable your alarm, and then they hand you a detailed report on all your weaknesses. Yeah, it's hacking, but it's for the good guys. And this isn't just random poking around. It follows a very clear playbook. A lot of the time, it's based on a methodology from OWASP, which is a nonprofit that's all about web security. It kicks off with information gathering. That's basically casing the joint. Then you've got threat modeling, which is figuring out who your enemy might be and how they'd attack. Next up, vulnerability analysis. Now you're finding the actual weak spots. And finally, exploitation. This is where they carefully prove a vulnerability is real, but without doing any actual damage. But, let's be real. Even the strongest fortress in the world can be breached. And that brings us to part 2 of our story. The moment that alarm finally goes off. The quiet hunt is over. We have an active incident. And just like that, everything changes. This is not a drill. It's not a quiet, careful search anymore. It's an all-hands-on-deck emergency. Every single second matters. The decisions made in the next few minutes and hours, well, they'll decide if the company bounces back or becomes another cautionary tale on the news. The pressure is on. So, how do you bring order to that kind of chaos? You have to have a plan, a calm, step-by-step playbook. And for a lot of digital investigators, that playbook comes from NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology here in the US. Think of it as the official, battle-tested procedure for handling a digital crime scene. And you can really feel the story arc here, right? The journey from total chaos back to control. It all starts with preparation. That's all the training and setup you do before anything bad happens. Then detection and analysis. That's the uh-oh moment when you realize you have a problem. Then comes the big one, containment, eradication, and recovery. And finally, post-incident activity, which is just a fancy way of saying, let's figure out what we learned so this never happens again. Let's drill down on 2 of those words, containment and eradication. They sound kind of similar, but they are worlds apart. Containment is all about stopping the bleeding. It's the first responders throwing up police tape to isolate the crime scene and keep things from getting any worse. Eradication is what happens next. That's when the forensics team comes in to meticulously sweep the area, get rid of the threat for good, and bag up all the evidence. But here's the catch. All of this, the proactive hunt for cracks, the frantic response to an attack, the containment, the eradication, all of it completely depends on one single non-negotiable thing. Without it, our digital detectives are absolutely lost. And that one thing is the evidence itself. See, in the digital world, evidence isn't a smoking gun or a footprint in the mud. It's a trail of digital breadcrumbs. It's the tiny, invisible fingerprints left behind by every single action that happens on a computer network. There's actually a saying in the industry that just nails it. In a digital investigation, the logs are the only witness that never lies. Think about it. People can misremember things, systems can be fooled, but a well-kept log, that's the objective, unblinking truth of exactly what happened. So what are these magical, all-important logs? Well, it's pretty simple, actually.
A log is just an automatic, time-stamped record of events. Every single time you log in, open a file, or visit a website, some system somewhere is probably making a little note of it. And for an investigator, that endless stream of notes is pure gold.
And a really good log entry basically reads like a detective's notepad. You've got the timestamp that answers when. The source is your who. The event is the what action was taken. The status tells you if it worked or not. And the destination is the where. With just those 5 pieces of information, an investigator can start to rebuild the entire story of an attack, piece by piece.
And this, right here, is why agencies like CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, are constantly talking about the importance of good logging. Because without logs, investigators have nothing. No leads, no trail to follow. They are, quite literally, flying blind. It's the difference between solving the crime and not even knowing a crime took place.
Which leaves us with one last, pretty big question to chew on. This whole system of defense and investigation is built on one thing: collecting massive amounts of data, logs of what everyone is doing all the time. Your data is being logged everywhere, right now. So as we build these amazing systems to watch for the bad guys, we have to ask ourselves, who is protecting the protectors? And who's watching their logs?